Welcome everyone to the Indigo Plateau podcast featuring the cast of Cutthroat Pokemon Season 3.
Oh, snap!
We are live!
Oh my goodness.
Let's go!
We made it, guys. Can we just get a ton of hype in the chat that we actually made it? We have all 5 players on one stream! Poggers!
I made it!
Woo! Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum,
I'm
bum.
tired.
I think we're all tired.
I'm alive and kicking somehow.
Right.
Can I just say, man, this is the first time that all 5 of us are here together since the finale.
You're right. That's so wild.
This is it.
So wild.
How's everyone doing? What's going on?
I'm
Not a
tired.
joke.
I feel really weird having this be live and yet, like, it's on my computer and it's not
Yeah.
my stream. Like,
Yeah, it's so wild.
I feel very disoriented.
Before we go too far into this, major thank you to Galactic Elliot. My frames right now, my internet is very, very unstable. You guys have seen that if you're watching this live. But Elliot came through at the very last minute and put this all together on his computer to stream. So Elliot, thank you so much, dude. You are the best. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, man, I gotta make this. I gotta keep the marathon going, all right? If it's on my end, I'll do it.
Must not end.
Let's do it.
Non-stop.
Oh,
So
yeah, Paul's shirt isn't
Is
here.
it-
Sorry, that's
Is
super
it
cool.
IP or
Oh, I gotta take it
Indigo
off.
Pod Plateau? Because in the documents, it's both.
I think either way it works, but it should be hashtag IP.
IP, so they have more space to tweet.
IP.
I see you changed it. I saw you changing
Yes,
it.
I
Saw
just
that.
changed it.
Okay.
So,
IP.
ladies and
IP.
gentlemen, welcome in to the Indigo Plateau podcast. This is a podcast that is being hosted by the Elite Four. If you do not know what the Elite Four is, exclamation point E4 if you are watching this live. But if you're watching this on YouTube, this is the Pokemon stream team. Yeah, we're all using the command at once.
Sorry, that's funny.
The Elite Four is the Pokemon stream team. We have some of the best creators that stream Pokemon. Twitch.tv/team/Elite Four, and you can find a ton of awesome Pokemon streamers. That includes everyone you see right now that's in Cutthroat Pokemon, but along with so many other people like Pokemon Cast and Allie and Chocolate Kieran and Pokemon Challenges and Jomodo. There's so many awesome people on this team that you guys need to check out. And every month we do this podcast where we hang out and we talk about a different topic every month. We talked about Sword and Shield, we talked about Burnout, we talked about the state of the Pokemon community, and we talk about all sorts of things. So that is pretty much that. The Elite Four, we just want to bring you guys amazing Pokemon stuff, and we use this podcast as an excuse to just hang out, talk about something, talk about a specific topic. So with that being said, we also want this to be a great opportunity for you guys to ask us questions. We love questions. However, we will not be answering anything in Twitch chat, so we can stay a little bit focused. So what you guys need to do is tweet us questions at Elite4TV.
And use hashtag IP if you have any questions, because IP is what I do daily. And you should probably do that too.
Yeah, that. And my voice is slowly dying.
That took me like I saw it after 5 seconds. So I was like, huh? What does that stand for? Like, what does that mean? Oh.
Oh my god. That's hilarious. So, I want to go down the line and have everyone introduce themselves in just a very brief what the heck do they do. You guys know me, I am Josh, or the Fourth Gen Gamer. I do all sorts of Pokemon content and some other variety stuff like speedruns and Mario Kart, whatever the heck. We also have Just Play Pokemon.
Hello, guys. I am Robbie, or Just Play Pokemon, or Hey Idiot that loves to not only play Pokemon, I just play. I just enjoy it. It's all about fun on my channel, and that is that simple as far as Pokemon goes. I also have a Mario channel, Just Play Mario, a sports channel, Two Brothers Gaming, and an everything channel, 2BG Plays. In other words, I love video games, and I love interacting with the community.
We also have the legend that is making the stream possible, Mr. Galactic Elliot.
Hello guys, what is I'm just kidding. Hello guys, how you guys all doing? I'm very excited to be part of this whole entire thing, the Cutthroat stuff, the Elite Four podcast, all the above, and it's been a hell of a time, and yeah, I can't wait.
We have the wonderful and amazing Steph of Anime. who I'm informed cannot make this podcast, but is being filled in by an automaton.
Hi everyone, I'm Steph. I'm really derpy, and I love Pokemon, I love Nintendo, I love variety stuff, so I do a little bit of everything, but there's always usually some sort of Pokemon on my streams, and yeah, I love hanging out with chat, derping around. You don't watch me for good gameplay, you watch me because we like memes and good time, so yeah, that's me.
Memes are great. And then, last but certainly not least, we have the Gold Split King himself, Mr. Pulse.
Yeah, there we go.
Yo, I want a duel. I want a face-off.
Are we dueling?
Yes.
Oh
I don't know
my
how to
gosh.
actually play it.
Wait, where are you on that layout? Like over here?
Oh yeah, I think this way is towards you. I think. That's all. Okay, goodbye.
I'm Paul Specs though. I do tons of Pokemon speedrunning, and I'm pretty much the guy who got bullied in season 2. So if you guys are looking forward to more bullying,
Whatever, man.
So, this is hilarious that I can't see Elliot's face cam. I just hear nut.
To be honest, isn't it a little better though, Josh?
Yeah.
Probably better that way.
So today, as you guys know, we have a topic for every podcast. We'll be talking about innovation in content creation, which, I mean, I think anyone that's seen my content, you guys know how much that means to me, and it means a lot to, I think, the people in call that we're here with. And we'll be talking about our experiences, what we think just generally works, like tips and tricks, and, you know, the challenges that come with innovating, because trying to be unique with content creation is not easy, especially in 2019 when there's so many content creators out there. Everyone wants to make YouTube videos and Twitch streams because it's fun and it's great and it's awesome. But it's really hard to try and stick out and try and be unique and try and innovate. So we are going to be talking about that today. And we're going to be going pretty in depth. And like we said, make sure you guys do tweet questions at us. And I want to just say something. We want you guys to ask us questions about innovation, but also you guys can ask us questions about Cutthroat Pokemon. This is the one time, you're very lucky if you're watching this live. This is the one time, I think, at least for a very long time, that you will have the entire cast of Cutthroat Pokemon on one live stream where you could ask questions. And honestly, I don't think we're going to have time for all questions because we need to raid Vander by midnight. So ask some good questions that we probably have not answered on stream. You know, maybe stuff that was related to recording and whatnot. You guys can ask those questions at Elite4TV and use the hashtag IP to get them in. But either way, with all of that out of the way, let's start things off with a pretty simple question. What does innovation mean to you? Not even just with content, but just in general, because I think innovation is a really important just concept. What is like your personal definition of innovation? If someone asks you, hey, what is this? Throwing out the volleyball if anyone wants it.
I guess I would say like bringing the most unique fun that you could possibly bring to something that's, you know, necessarily like the same. It's something familiar but different.
You gotta think outside the box, basically. Like, you gotta think like, hey, what can I do in a different way that will make people excited to watch this or see this? What can I do that will you know, change the game in a way? And like really like change the format, change how other people think rather than doing the same things that everyone else is doing. You know, you gotta be the person, you gotta be the leader to think outside the box.
I think innovation means something that stands out from the rest because it is unique. I think it's something that if you don't do nowadays, and we'll get into that I'm sure more later, if you don't do nowadays, it's a way to stand out from a group or a specific type of thing. When I think of games like Yoshi's Island, that is an innovative game. It was a 2D, 3D platformer. It was one of the first of its kind. So things like that are what innovation means to me as far as gaming goes. And you can apply that to real life too.
Yeah, I think everybody said it right here. I agree with everyone. I think it's being different, doing something different, whether that's a different experience or a different type of gameplay, just being different and doing something pretty cool.
Yeah, you know, I would say definitely a good way to put it would be like making something that's special to you. And I think that's something that, you know, we'll talk about is like there's a lot of ways to innovate in like very small ways and then in like bigger ways. But like you can innovate. I mean, it sounds really stupid, but even just tonight, I have no voice. And I did real time. You could call innovation by being like, hey, you could share 100 bits to shut me up for a minute. And it became a really funny thing when Steph came on stream and started telling stories while I was being shut up. And I think that's the bottom line, is that you make something that's unique to you, special to you, that, you know, you can only do. There's only one person that can do that the best, and it's you. And I think that's something really important. Something that Robbie touched on is that, you know, that applies to just real life stuff, and not that content isn't real life, but just other things. Does anyone disagree, like, that this only applies to content creation? I mean, I feel like this idea of innovation, I mean, it transcends with so many different things. Like, is this only a content thing, or is it like, is there a bigger picture here? You know?
No, you could do it with everything. Honestly, I think a little bit of innovation in your life with boring things will make it less miserable. Things that you have to do. If you can find a fun and creative way to do it, then, you know, it won't be so bad.
It's like with cards. You can do whatever you want with cards. You can make your own card games. You don't have to play the, you know, cards games that everyone else plays. Like, I remember whenever I was a kid, I'll go over to my friend's house and we had Uno cards. We didn't only play just Uno, though. We made a game called, like, Reds or whatever, where, like, you can basically play with the same color cards only, and, like, you have to, like, stack them up or whatever. Like, we made up stuff with things that, you know, were already put out there for us. Like, Uno. Uno's a very self-explanatory game, but we were like, Uno's kind of boring. Let's play another card game that we can make up ourselves. And that was the innovation. Like, we had more fun that way, rather than every single time we go to my friend's house, we just play Uno and that's it. You know, that's boring. We want to do different stuff. So it's important in life in general. I think it applies to everything.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like sports, I play basketball, and if basketball didn't have innovation come into it, there's so many different ways you can play a sport or do a job at work or any of that kind of stuff. If you don't do that, you're also, chances are innovation leads to progression when it comes to a lot of things too. So if nobody was like, if everybody did the exact same thing when they played a sport or did their job, how are you going to get better? How are you going to find unique ways to do things that may be more, I don't know, maybe just more, make a job easier or make the sport easier? Like, there's a ton of different things you can do. And if you don't think outside the box, like Josh was saying earlier, well, you're going to stay in that box forever, and you might be happy with that, but most people aren't.
Yeah, I think that's. I'll just throw this in real quick. Our last podcast was on burnout.
We're on the same page. Sorry, continue. I was going to say literally that. I'm going to mute now.
You also.
So, you know, burnout is, if you guys want to hear more about that, we have an entire podcast where we talked about that. It was a really good podcast. Playing on YouTube playlist. You know, you can get burnt out from doing the same thing over and over and over again. And, you know, one of the solutions that we kind of talked about a little bit was, you know, trying something different. And innovating is a really, really, really great way to do that. Try something different. Do something different. And, you know, I don't want to get too in depth like into the stuff we're going to talk about in a few minutes, but I think that innovation is huge, because innovation is just bringing a foreign or different idea into something, and that could mean getting better at something, or having more fun with something, or getting more attention for something. Innovation is a solution to many, many, many different problems that, you know, I feel like, and it's getting past that hurdle of being afraid to innovate, which we'll talk about. That's really hard to do, you know? But yeah, so let's, we got that beginning sort of taken care of. I'm wondering, what inspires everyone to innovate? You know, I think that we could take a lot from each other in this one. It's like, you know, I think everyone gets different bursts of motivation, either from certain things in pop culture, or just from within themselves, or on Twitter, from other videos. Just in general, like what has inspired you in the past? Either a spark of motivation or just something that gets you going. If anyone wants to get this one, if not, I could start.
I think that, like, I love that whenever I see my friends, you know, really getting motivated, like, themselves. You know, whenever I see my friends killing it and they're, like, all just so hyped and they're ready to get the ball rolling, and then I kind of like get that secondhand excitement from them. I kind of get that secondhand motivation from them, and then, you know, it makes me think outside the box a little bit. It makes me, like, you know, want to get out there a little bit, and, like, you know, especially whenever I find out like new ideas to do, and like a really fresh idea or a really fresh thing that like I'm really passionate about. It's something that will, it just gives me a spark of motivation. I love it.
I think for me, when I'm really bored, really bored, like I'll just think of something like to just spice it up, you know. It helps. It really helps. Just kind of just sit there and just have that brainstorming whenever you just like are really out of ideas.
Oh man, the shower moments, yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say,
yeah, I was thinking that.
I think shower for all of us. Something big for me always is music. Music inspires me so much. If I'm out of ideas, I listen to music, and like I listen to anyone that has listened to music in my car or anything. I listen to a lot of different music. I listen to heavy metal. I listen to pop. I listen to rap. I listen to everything. And certain songs will like really like move me around inside. Some songs will just make me be like, oh my god, like I'm motivated to do this right now, or like I want to make people feel hype. I want to make people feel sad. I want to make people blah, whatever. And that's how I came up with Cutthroat Pokemon. I was on the school bus home in my junior year of high school, and I forgot what I was listening to. I think it was like Imagine Dragons or something. And I was just blindly staring out the window. And I was just thinking, oh my god, I love Cutthroat Kitchen. Why can't I do that with Pokemon? And for me, music is a big thing. Music gets me very inspired to think. And there's a lot of other things, but that's like a big thing for me is just I love music so much.
I've had it come from a lot of different places, I would say. One is just simply watching content of all sorts. For me, especially when I'm looking for ideas for things, I have 4 different YouTube channels for a reason. Part of that reason is I have hands and eyes in a lot of different types of content. I may watch, you know, let's just say a Game Grumps video, and one of the things that they say may inspire me to have an idea for a video. It can also come from a place of frustration with your own personal content. Part of the reason that I actually have a job out here with 2K is because I was frustrated with kind of the reaction to some of my videos when it came to sports gaming. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do one of the hardest things you could possibly do. I'm going to make a budget series of this thing. And it blew up and it became a big deal in the sports community, so much so that I was noticed. But it came from actually just, I wasn't staring vacantly out a bus window listening to music in this case. I was actually like, man, I'm mad about how things are going. I need to be inspired and change that. And that's where it came from for me. So that was one of the things there. And then as far as Pokemon in particular, I would say it comes from looking at the landscape. Okay, Josh is over here doing a great Moemon series with Steph. Elliot is over there doing battle stuff. What can I do that would make me stand out? Because if you do something that makes you stand out, chances are not many people are doing it. And you have a unique hook for your channel, whether it's Twitch or whether it's on YouTube or whatever it is. You fight to kind of be tied with a certain idea. Like it or not, Josh, you're on this train. We're all on this train as far as Cutthroat goes. But obviously, especially you, it's your original idea, man. Like, they're going to be like, that's the Cutthroat guy.
As for me, I think I'm going to say something that's on a similar line as Robbie, because I think that, and I know we're going to talk more in depth about this later, but I think when you choose to be a content creator, innovation is really important. And I think the motivation to what inspires you is being a content creator in a way, not just because, you know, being innovative will make your content better and then make viewers really like it, but just also for yourself to avoid burnout. So I think some of my biggest like motivators with, you know, trying to innovate is just being a content creator, because it'll make me feel good if I do something where, you know, I know that I put a piece of myself into this content, and I did something that I know that, you know, me mixing with this piece of content does something that no one else can do in the same way that I can, and it keeps you from burning out. And it keeps you, especially when you have to make so many, I think with any creative field, when you have to keep, you know, creating all these ideas, and it's really important to try and think of new things so it doesn't get stale for you. And whatnot. So I think just being a content creator, I mean, I get a lot of inspiration also from anime, like, because I love anime. So just trying to find bursts and things that I like and trying to incorporate the things that I like into what else I do. So yeah.
I was going to say anime. I was going to guess. I just want to say before we go to the next question, you guys have been amazing in chat. Any questions that we ask each other, please, I've seen you guys answering in chat. We're not responding to you guys just so we could keep it moving, but we see everything you're saying in chat. And I think see some people saying that they love writing and family and this and that. You guys are awesome. And, you know, you guys, by sharing your personal responses, it kind of helps us grow, I feel like, as well. Like, you know, we help each other in this podcast grow by sharing each other's experiences, and hearing your guys' experiences helps us too. So please share your ideas, share your thoughts. We love to hear. And we're also getting lots of questions on the Twitter. Make sure you guys submit your questions at Elite4TV using hashtag IP so we could get to that at the end and we could answer as many questions as we can. With that being said, this is a tough question. How do ideas come to life? So kind of like a similar question, but kind of like the next step, like after you feel that burst, like what's like something that like happens? Like, is it like calling with friends? Is it writing down ideas? Is it, you know, trying something and then trying it again? Like what is the process that like kickstarts it, you know? I give this a start, if no one else wants to.
Yeah.
Something that I found is, first of all, you know, obviously there's no right or wrong way to try and bring an idea to life. I've tried a lot of different ways. Sometimes you just sit in a call and you BS with someone and you think about things. I feel like a really good strategy, I actually learned this from a class that I was in that's design of computer games, is just to, it's like almost like word association. Just write down what you want your idea to be. You know, I have a series that I really want to do with Purple Cliff called Forgotten Pokemon Challenges. And that is a series that has one video up and we have not gotten to another one. But the idea was that we wanted a series that would be really different. And we wrote down, just rapid fire on a Google Doc, a bunch of things we wanted our series to be. It was like, you know, like mysterious, forgotten. I forget like a lot of the words, but there were like 20 words. And then we took those words and then we built a series off of that, you know? And Elliot and I did a similar thing with the series that we're going to have launching in a week and a half called Wager Wars. You know, that was initially hatched by JPP in the call here, Robbie. And, of course, Elliot and I had to sit down and be like, okay, how do we actually take this idea and like materialize it? How do we take this and make it a functioning series? So we sat down in a call for about an hour with a Google Doc open, and we just wrote down a bunch of things like, okay, here's what we have to work with. Here's what we want the series to be. How do we make it connect? And with that, we made a really crazy chaotic series that we're excited to show you guys. So those are just a few things that have worked for me. But there are a lot of different ways that you can kind of do that and make it work, you know?
Honestly, yeah, you kind of said it all.
pretty much.
I was gonna say, if nobody else wants to jump in, the other thing is, again, like assessing the landscape. For me, it's really important to not always do what everybody else does. And so if I get an idea, I go, okay, once I have the idea and the spark, I immediately start looking around. Like, has anybody done this? Is this going to be something that I put out and go, and, you know, everybody goes, oh, well, you know, Josh already did that. Like, I don't want that to happen. I want me to be as excited about the idea as everybody else is when they see it. You know, like that's very important to have that mutual, like the excitement should jump off the video and into their hearts almost when they're watching the video. Like if I don't have that, then I haven't done my job. So I'm always looking at the landscape, trying to see if this has been done before, something similar to this has been done before. Otherwise, I might pass over the idea. I have a notebook just sitting here where I write a bunch of stuff down. And I might have an idea that I wrote down 2 years ago come back to me when I have time. And timing is important too. I think that's the other thing. You look at the landscape now versus 6 months from now when Sword and Shield's out, it's going to be different. So you have to constantly assess the landscape around you as well if you want an idea to really hit, and for both you and the audience to feel good about it.
Keep your mind busy, keep the ball rolling, and just kind of see what sticks. And sometimes you have to just throw things at a wall and just kind of see like what does work, what doesn't work, and just kind of test it out like that. But yeah, no, I think you guys kind of covered it all. I mean, you know, just gotta continue thinking. It's tough to adapt, you know, like.
One other thing that could be useful, especially if you have a big project, is to set yourself goals. That's super important. If you don't set yourself goals, then you're not gonna end up completing the idea, at least not as easily. You know, if you don't set a deadline for like, hey, we're gonna record on this day, or hey, I'm gonna get this done by this day, you know, whatever. Like, you know, the Forgotten Pokemon challenges with Purple Cliff. I love Purple Cliff so much. I'm so excited to record the next one, but you know, both of us just haven't been on the ball. We didn't set another date, and we're gonna do it soon. But it's one of those things. If you don't say, hey, Cliff, like we're recording on Thursday, you're not gonna record on Thursday. And that's the thing, is holding yourself accountable, I think, is super important, or else it's not gonna materialize as easily, you know. So yeah, all right, awesome. So the next thing here is this is probably, I feel like, one of the biggest challenges I think a lot of people have is trying to balance your content in terms of unique, crazy, like fringe ideas, and then traditional, normal ideas. You know, something that I've heard from a lot of people is that like, hey, like I post this video and it doesn't do well. And, you know, that's going to happen sometimes when, if you do something that's completely, you know, like weird, something that people don't understand, something that's like kind of challenges the traditional format, you know, people may not click on the video. People may not be like interested, you know? So the question here is, how is it possible to strike a balance between normal content and like crazy stuff? Not even how is it possible, but like, what's the best way to go about that? In other words, is it important to... Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. No, just keep going.
Is it important to try safe ideas in tandem with riskier ideas? Putting all your eggs in one basket kind of a thing.
So I'm excited to answer this because I feel like I see this a lot, and it's super, super good advice, which is, it's kind of like almost you can compare it to deciding to go full-time on Twitch or not. In a weird way, that can sometimes be like a riskier, more like innovative job than, say, your standard job. And I think the way to think about it, or one way, this is just my 2 cents, is that you want to balance your innovative, your riskier content with something stable. So if you want to say live stream or do something innovative with your live streams, have something else stable on the side that you're also doing, so that if your risky idea doesn't work, you know, you're not out of luck and you're not, you know, suffering so badly for it. You know, you want to make risks, but you also don't want that risk to make it so you can't pay your bills or do anything like that. And even with school, for example, you know, if you're trying to make content or you have this really cool, innovative idea for an art piece, and if it's going to make you fail school or something like that, then maybe you have to kind of weigh your time management and kind of balance, you know, what are these things that are secure that I can do? And then how can I take that extra time to do something really innovative? And I think with content, it's, you know, do your regular thing that you're doing that, you know, works. And then, you know, pick a day of the week and be like, you know what, I think I'm going to test the waters here. If it doesn't work, go back to my secure thing for a while and then try something else. And make sure you have something stable so that you don't crash and burn and never want to try something innovative ever again. Same with like a business. If you're trying to start a business, that's a really innovative thing. You don't want to quit your job and start this business when you know, if it doesn't take off, and then you got nothing, you know? So I think that's something really important to consider.
A house built on a shaky foundation will collapse.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mentioned this in one of my videos that I made talking about this topic, is that, you know, as much as I always preach that, you know, you need to, you know, if you want to grow, you need to be innovative and all of that. In my opinion, you know, you could go out and be innovative all you want from the outset, and that's great and that's amazing. But you know, before that, I think it's important that you find something that is consistent for you, that you know that you can do, that's fun, something that you know that, you know, just people will enjoy, and is not that risky, because that's how you get your feet wet. That's how you start to brainstorm. You know, before Cutthroat Pokemon, there were just normal egg locks and randomizer Nuzlocks, and I still make those because, you know, not everything can be a Cutthroat Pokemon. You need to balance the safe ideas with the risky things. Just because, you know, you take a production like Cutthroat, for example, where there's a lot of time put into it, and there's a lot of money put into it, and a lot of stuff, and that's how excuse me, that's how the end product ends up being so well. But, you know, if all content creators put that much manpower into every project, we would, you know, we wouldn't be able to do it. We wouldn't be able to do it. So, like, I think that's really important, and I really like that, Steph. That's a really good point. Like, to realize that with just anything in life, especially with things that are just innovative in nature, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, because then you'll be putting yourself in a position to be disappointed. Because, you know, and I'm just using Cutthroat Pokemon as an example because everyone here knows Cutthroat Pokemon. It's Cutthroat Pokemon Marathon. But before Cutthroat Pokemon, there were 7 other projects before that that either you didn't see because they never got published, or they didn't do as well. You know, my classic example is Poketubers On. Some of you guys may remember Poketubers On. Great idea. Great idea. This was, Robbie, you may know this. What was it from the sports community? It was like something with sports YouTubers on.
Yeah, basically YouTubers On.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was YouTubers On. Yeah, so pretty much we adapted it to be a Pokemon series years ago, and then I took that idea and I rebooted that. And pretty much the idea to that was you get a bunch of creators and they answer one question. So for example, you know, what was your first Pokemon game? And then you have like Rozokin answer, and then you have Pokemon Cast answer, and you have A-Drive answer, and then you have all these people like just answer one question, and it's like a 20-minute video, and you just hear a rapid fire a bunch of answers. Great idea. And maybe if one of us rebooted that now, maybe it would work. But I did about 2 or 3 episodes of it a year and a half ago when my channel was doing really well. And like, I took a lot of effort to make those videos, because you have to reach out to everyone. You have to follow up with them. You got to get them to upload their videos. You have to download the videos. You have to compile them all up, make them all graphics for each of their channels. And it was a lot of work. That idea, it didn't do like amazing. And it was fun to do, but it's one of those things, like, it took hours and hours and hours. And it's like, okay, well, you know, people don't like this idea that much. Let me try something else. And yeah. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think what we're all saying in a sense too is that a safe idea, for me at least, is one that I know people will enjoy. It will take minimal time and resources to do, and people will still enjoy it. So the time is the big thing. It takes a massive amount of time to put together a Cutthroat Pokemon. But, you know, I can hop on with Elliot and do a random Wonder Trait battle relatively easily. You know, so that kind of stuff is a big deal. Time is the biggest resource that you have in life, in content creation, and anything else. Anything that you could just hop on, throw up there, and people are pretty happy with, that's great. And it gives you more time to put together a Cutthroat Pokemon, because the simple thing is the foundation for the more complicated thing.
Yeah, and in retrospect with time, it's like you also need time to create the highest quality of stuff too. And like, it's really tough to like really try to manage the real life stuff with the content stuff, because you have a lot of things going on one end and a lot of things going on another end. I think it's important to, you know, have a safety net, if anything else, have that little safety project that you know is going to do well, and then have that big project that, you know, maybe a little bit of a risk, but can also be one of the biggest and best projects you'll ever do in your life. And I think that's what Josh, you know, kind of envisioned with Cutthroat. It's something that he would put so much time into, and then the stuff on the side will be a lot, you know, he'll put a lot of time into that too, but it won't be as much time, and it'll like surround Cutthroat. And like, you know, season 1 was a huge risk for him because he had so much time and so much money into it, but you know, it did pretty well. But season 2, he went even harder. He threw thousands of dollars. He got an editing team. He got like everything. And then season 3, it's a billion times more effort, a billion times more editing, a billion times more this and that. And it's like, you know, he's going above and beyond to make this the best, the biggest thing it can possibly be. And, you know, that's pretty awesome.
Great, no risk, no reward, right? But
Yeah, you gotta take
I was
risks.
just about to say that. A real quick comment, so then Pulse can also give his 2 cents. I think something we're saying is like innovation is great, but yeah, it is a high risk, high reward, and a lot of people don't like change. So you got to get over that hump sometimes of people like get scared by, oh my God, this is different. Like, what is this? Is this scary? And some people will not like what you do, but then when it hits, and it's great.
For sure. I actually wanted to ask Pulse. I was going to let you segue, buddy. Pulse is in kind of a unique situation to me because he's doing, he does speed runs. And I mean, you want to talk about high risk, high reward. He could have a day where his speed runs are just doggy doo-doo, where they're just terrible and he's not getting the RNG he needs and he's not getting to this and not getting to that. So when it comes to content creation for you, man, I'm really interested from your perspective because almost everything you do, to me at least, takes a massive amount of time, a really massive amount of effort, even behind the scenes before you get to the videos. And we were talking about burnout before. I mean, speedrun life is difficult. Like, to me, as a relative outsider, I'm interested to see what your perspective is on this, man. Like, is any of that stuff completely wrong, or am I somewhat on the right track?
I could very much say you were on the right track. So for me, oh my God, the biggest thing I have to do when, like, let's say I'm learning a new speed game is I'll have to go out of my way to like look at some notes, and then because everyone else's notes are really hard to read, I have to go over here, make a giant list of my own notes in the own format that I want to. I have to practice. I have to make sure there's no spelling errors or incorrect things in the notes, and then I have to make it interesting. So it all comes down to that. And because of all this stuff, I think it actually makes it to where I don't have to burn out as much as easily, and it could be a little bit innovative because now I'm doing things like adding randomizers, I'm adding like wonder trades and stuff, and I think it's very important to sort of find that line for me to not be too burned out, to where I can actually make some progression in the actual speed runs, and then change it up, have some fun with it.
You guys are tweeting us really, really good questions.
Ooh.
After this big topic, we're gonna break from the podcast topic and answer your guys' questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I was looking. Tweet us them.
Tweet us questions. If they're in chat, we're not gonna answer them, unfortunately. Tweet. In the upper right hand corner, you can see where to tweet us. Because I honestly I want to make sure we answer your guys' questions. But before that, how do you communicate a foreign idea with a crowd? That can be a struggle. I know for Cutthroat Pokemon, Steph and I had some late nights last year for season 2, trying so hard to script the trailer and episode 1 to be the best thing possible, where it's hype. It's hype for the people that know what it is, but for people that don't know what it is, can have somewhat of an idea of what the heck is a Cutthroat Pokemon. And that is a challenge. Does anyone want to kick this one off?
I can say something.
Yeah, go
it's
for
a
it.
small thing, but with any foreign idea, I think confidence is so important. Like, you know, if you're not confident and believe in whatever your idea is, there's no way anyone's going to be confident. You know, if you're excited and passionate about like this really weird thing, someone who's like, I don't know about this is like, well, this person's really into it. So, you know, maybe it's actually not so weird. And if you can sell it, you know, be your own salesperson, I think that's the number one thing. Because if you're like, well, this idea is like kind of cool, I guess, I'm going to be like, I guess? I mean, that doesn't sound very cool to me, you know? So try and be confident. Even if you're nervous, that's totally okay to be nervous and anxious about an idea. But in the moment, you got to think about how much you believe in it, and in the way that you know how to be like, this, I really believe in this idea and I want you guys to trust in me that it's going to be something really good. And yeah, that's, I think, the biggest thing.
So there's a couple things for me. Steph touched on one of them, passion. You have to have passion for what you're doing. I have too many passions in some ways, but I am always into what I'm doing. If you're not, you shouldn't do it. It's that simple. There's also the simplicity of things. If you make an idea a lot of times people will come to me, and I don't know if you guys experience this too, but at least in my chat or on Twitter and stuff, people see that I do maybe some weird Nuzlocke rules or something like that, and they'll be like, hey, you know, I had this idea, and then there's this paragraph that's like this long, and you're like, whoa, okay, you lost me because it's too complicated. At a certain point, if an idea is not simple enough and understandable enough, then you're going to have a problem. No matter how good it is, if it's too complicated, you're going to have problems. So you got to be passionate, and you got to keep it somewhat simple.
Think about, can a Steffo make it through your idea in one piece?
Oh, in that case, it's awesome.
It's kind of like, you know, a resume in a way.
Yeah, you
You
really
have
should, though, kind of
kiss.
think outside of yourself, because a lot of people don't do that. You know, they're
You
like,
have to
well,
kiss.
I like this idea, you know, but and this would be a great idea for me. And then they pitch it to me or to you or to somebody else, and you go, well, that sounds like something that you would enjoy. But when you're putting content out on a platform like Twitch or YouTube, you also have to think about your audience a lot. If you don't, it might not go that well.
Yeah, it's kind of like a resume. Like, you know, whenever like you give it to like a person and like, you know, you give it to like a job or whatever, they're gonna stop reading whenever they see it's like 5 pages long. You got to make like a nice like 2-page at most resume, if not 1 page. Make it look pretty, make it look good, and just be straight to the point of what you do and what you're about. And then when it comes to content creation, you gotta make sure that, you know, with ideas, you gotta make sure it's straight to the point, people understand it, but it's cool and, you know, entertaining enough and different enough, you know.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Or if you are nice and you're Steph, keep it simple, silly.
I thought you were saying kiss to Steph, like that, like a lovey-dovey thing.
No.
Ew.
That's
I totally
Ew, cooties.
Yeah.
For me, it's weird because I can't keep it simple. Like the thing that I do is just like, it's stupidly complicated, and I have to tell people, all right, this is how you're gonna understand it. So I kind of make it simple, but like, oh man, I think it's because it's complicated that I can actually make it interesting.
Well,
Because,
but for
like,
me,
that's
with
my
you,
vibe.
Pulse, like, I liked watching your stuff because you were so into it. So that was that side of it. Like, you were freaking so excited to be speedrunning and to be doing just whatever you were doing. The passion just jumps off the screen. So that's what I got out of it. And then because of that, I was sucked in, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read this paragraph because you were excited about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you do have a complicated idea, it goes back to that whole having that passion and that confidence. Not being arrogant, confident. I do want to also clarify that. Don't be arrogant, but, you know, just be passionate and believe, have that kind of confidence. I think that can make a complicated idea. You could sell it to people that way still.
I think it's kind of like having a good math teacher, because if you have a bad math teacher, you are not going to enjoy math. You're not going to learn math. Like, that's kind of like me with English. I can't paragraph at all.
That's such
Like,
a good analogy. I
it.
love that. That's because, you know, math is complicated, but not if you have the right teacher.
You gotta just teach it in a way where, you know, the others will, you know, be able to understand
That's
it.
a really good point. If I would just say one last thing, tying it into real life, is you need to have an elevator pitch. Everyone needs to have an elevator pitch. And the term elevator pitch comes from literally being in an elevator. If you are with a stranger, if you are with someone that you've never met before or you haven't seen in a long time, they're like, oh, hey, like, what do? You need to sell yourself or your product or your company in 20 to 30 seconds. That's how long an elevator can be.
Can I just say, I've seen this man. Am I pointing in the right direction? I don't know if I am or not. Yeah, this man right here, I've seen literally do this in an elevator with people, and it's so funny.
It's hilarious because, you know, usually it doesn't actually happen in an elevator. It's at like an airport or a restaurant or like in a mall, and you see someone for 20, 30 seconds. And that's an actual communication tool. I didn't just make that up. Google making an elevator pitch. That's like a communication tool. And there are a lot of good like resources for that. You know, if you're trying to sell something, or if you're trying to get people to join like a community or anything, you know, if you're getting people to volunteer for something, you have to have an elevator pitch. You don't have an elevator pitch, it's not gonna be good. You know, Steph and I got a former developer from Google to go to dinner with us Because of an elevator pitch.
That
at
was
PAX
the
East.
funniest thing. Can we do a quick story time? Literally, we see this random guy who's like holding pizza. So, you know, like, he seems like a cool guy. I mean, we all love pizza, right? And all of a sudden, Josh just talks to this guy. And he's just really cool. And so the 2 minutes, as soon as the elevator is like, you know, after we talk about the project, he talks quickly about he's like software. It's like, yo, you want to come to dinner with us? And we literally just made a new friend from the elevator. Like, what?
That's networking 101.
What? Wild.
I'll say a little bit of experience from real life too with 2K. My content it was more like a staircase, I guess, but it took a while. But I had a plan, right? Like, I wanted to get a job exactly where I was, and it started with YouTube. Okay, how do I stand out so that they notice me? Okay, I'm gonna get upset, get motivated, figure out something unique to stand out. Then I interact with people on social media. But once you get there in person, you still have to have the skills to be able to sell yourself, to do the elevator pitch. So once I actually got in front of the developers and the people that make the game, I had 20 or 30 seconds to stand out from a group of other influencers to go, this guy actually is here for more than himself. He's interested in learning about the game and how to make it. So I spent a lot of time just thinking about that kind of stuff. If I'm ever in this situation, what do I do to stand out without going, hey, pick me. How do you actually stand out? Is you're concise, you're simple, and you're effective. So you have to spend a lot of time thinking about that. You
gotta be into it.
Hours. Yeah, you got to be into it, and you got to spend hours thinking about minutes. Like I said with Pulse before, he sucked me in. Like, Cutthroat aside, dude, I'm just gonna
Pulse
give
is
you
a
all
vacuum
the props in the
confirmed.
world. He is a huge Hoover.
Pulse sucks.
He sucks so good. But seriously, like the way that he puts together his screams and stuff, there's no way that he should be able to interact with his chat and care about his everything as much as he does. But because the passion jumps off the screen, it's like he's got subscribers for life. He's got viewers for life because of the way he operates. In 20 to 30 seconds, when somebody clicks on your channel on Twitch, you're either going to go, this guy, he's boring, and leaves, or they stay because Pulse is like covering his face up in magic carps or whatever it is. Like, it's there, it's sold quickly. Pulse does a great job with that.
He's also really good at spilling water.
Hoggers.
I have like 5 towels.
Get some
over here.
Steffo spills in the chat if you've got them.
Something I just want to mention really quickly. Also, visuals, graphics are advantageous. Random order trade battles, really simple. Put the text on the screen. There you go. Explains. Use graphics. Graphics are helpful. Make them look pretty though. All right. So last question before we go to Twitter, and then we have a lot more questions that I've written down, but I want to go to Twitter for a little bit. But before we do anything, this is a spicy question. Does a specific platform, YouTube versus Twitch, give a greater advantage when trying a foreign idea? I think Robbie is like about to explode.
I was just about to say, Pulse, that's a really nice shirt you have on. Well, I would say in all seriousness, yeah, it looks great, doesn't it? In all seriousness, I do think it depends on the type of content you're doing and where you find a niche. Because for me at the start, when it comes to Pokemon, it was YouTube. And then eventually, as YouTube made changes to a bunch of stuff, it has gone to Twitch. And interaction is key for me. Giving good vibes out, giving people a place where they feel welcome is the biggest thing for me. Like I said, it's about fun. That's kind of my little motto. Because of that, it has become Twitch because, hey, look, we're live doing a podcast. If people are smiling, people are laughing, people are having fun, that's my vibe, that's my jam. It might be different for other people. They might want to do more curated content on YouTube and go, okay, I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to be very professional. I'm going to be whatever. People like me being a nerd and doing weird dances and having fun. Maybe that lends itself more to Twitch. I think it always depends on, again, I've said it before, but assessing the landscape. You're not going to have two people have the exact same experience on either platform. So for me, it's Twitch right now. It was YouTube.
Yeah, I think that this is a very good question, actually, because it really depends on the person. Like, you have people that have really cool ideas and have like lots of post-production done, and that's where, you know, if you have a lot of like post-production done and you have a lot of cool ideas, you have way more flexibility in doing that for YouTube. Meanwhile, for Twitch, you have a lot of chat interactivity, and you can add a lot of chat stuff with it. Like, you know, Shady Penguin, for example, is doing like that little chat lock or whatever, and with the chat lock, you can have like the chat basically do so many functions in the game, while, you know, whenever you're doing it for YouTube, you can't have that at all. So I feel like it really depends on the person and how much, you know, time and energy you're willing to put in for a YouTube project, and how much time you're willing to put in for that, you know, cool effects and the cool ideas. And then for Twitch, you can have really cool ideas and have chat involved, but I feel like since it's live, you're put on the spot more. You're not willing to, you're not able to put in a lot of like post-production stuff. So I feel like the more creativity can come in from YouTube more than Twitch, in my opinion.
I think.
Go ahead, I mean, you have more time, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's more of an emotional thing. I'm very comfortable with Twitch. Very comfortable with Twitch. And most of the things that I will post on YouTube are going to be from Twitch, and I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to thinking of something to do for YouTube, and I feel very pressured, and a lot of the stuff I want to do is going to probably be on Twitch, and until I get over that, you know. So yeah, it's kind of it's a weird spot right now.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very interesting question where it depends. I
depends on
agree
the person,
with that.
yeah.
It depends on the person and definitely the situation. You know, YouTube is amazing because you can do post-production and because your one innovative creation lives on forever. Whereas Twitch, unless you repost it on YouTube, you know, it's, you know, you could highlight it, but people don't really watch VODs that much compared to YouTube videos. You know, and then if you want the Twitch idea to live on, you have to do it again and again and again and again. Cutthroat Pokemon Season 2 will be on YouTube forever. At the same time, YouTube can, you know, punish bad ideas sometimes. If you try to do a month straight of innovative videos and none of them hit, then your channel is going to possibly not do well for a while, because that's how YouTube works, and that sucks. Whereas Twitch, you could do a month straight of wacky, weird streams, and like, it's not like Twitch is going to punish you. It's like, it depends directly on how the viewers take it, but it's not like Twitch is going to be like, oh, let's drag you down in the follower list today. So there's that. YouTube is very interesting as always. And I think it really does depend. It really does depend.
Can we put the question in the Discord just whenever we're answering a certain question? Because I kind of forgot the specifics of the question.
The question is, does a specific platform, YouTube versus Twitch, give a greater advantage when trying to for an idea?
Yeah, I think everyone hit the nail on the head. I think something to, I guess, think about that, I guess, wasn't said. Whatever everyone said is valid, as it does definitely depend, is maybe look at your circumstances and what you're more likely to do. I saw some people in chat say, you know, hey, my computer's not streamable. And if that's the case, maybe you want to try YouTube to try out content, because, you know, you could film it with a nice camera or your iPhone and then just upload it to YouTube, and maybe kind of look at what do you have available and what can you maximize. If you don't have a streamable computer, live streams might just not be an option for you at this moment, versus maybe you can get started with, you know, YouTube content, see if you like it. And then if you're like, no, I really want that live interaction, like, you know, kind of, you know, there definitely are different things. Some are better in some ways, some are better in other ways. And you kind of view what's better for you. What kind of content do you prefer to watch, you know?
Everyone has a camera.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone, but if you have a phone that's newer than 2014, you probably have a pretty good camera.
Yep, and you know, you don't have to have a crazy good internet compared to YouTube, where, you know, you can get away with the crappy internet. It'll just take long to upload, and that's it.
Yeah, you could have horrible internet, but make an amazing YouTube video. It'll just take like 12 hours to upload, but then you'll be good.
Yeah. All right, before we go to the questions, we're at the halfway point, and I mean, not that we always do this, but let's just pretend this is a new thing. You know what that means? It's time to take a thumbnail picture.
Oh,
so Elliot,
snap.
do you have like light shot, like
yes,
print screen?
I mean,
great,
bro.
Are you gonna be able to take a picture? Give us like a 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thumbnail picture for the YouTube thumbnail. I'm gonna do like a PogChamp.
I'm gonna do like the big brain.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, there you go.
There you go.
Just paste it in the Discord. Or wait, no, you can't.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
so
it's
I
okay.
will hold it.
Twitter DM.
I will hold it. Yeah.
Don't.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna go on Discord.
Yeah. All right. We have a ton of questions on on here. I don't know if we'll be able to get to every single one. Some of the more general ones we may not be able to answer tonight because we've probably answered them in some other situations. But some that are really good here. Can I start with the controversial one? Because that's actually the first one that was asked tonight.
Go for it.
Go for it.
By all means.
This question is from Raw Mustard, who asks, do you think the new Twitch sub-only stream option will spark new innovations in content creation? Guys, get your 4th gen pops, your fire emotes in the chat, because if you were on Twitter today at all, you know that that is a spicy topic. There you go. Get your cursed lips.
Every time I'm on world record pace, I'm just gonna switch it to sub. From now on.
It's like, all right, guys, this is premium content.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Y'all gotta pay me for world records.
Okay, so okay, how do we start this off? I'm just gonna share my opinion, and then you know, if anyone disagrees, then we'll just ask if anyone disagrees, and if not, then we'll just move on and then answer the actual question. So my opinion is, when it comes to sub-only streams, is that more Twitch features is not a bad thing. You could always just not use something. You know, in Twitch's case, this makes sense from a business standpoint. It makes them more of a viable option compared to, say, like Patreon. It's up to anyone, you know, with how they want to use sub-only. But having the option is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a good idea to do sub streams or anything, but does anyone disagree with that? Is that like a common starting point?
I agree.
Cool. Because there's some people I know that were like, why is this even a thing? And, you know,
I feel like it's silly to scold Twitch for it. It's up to the people that want to do it. Why should we yell at Twitch?
But, you know.
Why should we yell at Twitch for adding a feature? It's an optional feature. It gives people more flexibility to use the feature if they want to. At the end of the day, it's the people that will utilize it that people can complain to, being like, why are you making sub-only content? Not Twitch being like, why are you making this an option? It's like Twitch is just trying to make feasible options for everyone. It's optional to use it. They're not saying do it. They're saying if you want to do it, you can. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think one of the things too is just some of those same people that criticize that are going to be those people that will, let's call it poop posting, just to be clear, on Twitter, and then be like, well, if you don't like what you're seeing, then unfollow. Well, if you don't like the feature, then don't use it. And if you don't like that somebody's using the feature, you don't have to watch either. I mean, options are never a bad thing. I don't understand why having an option to do something that does not is not illegal, does not directly hurt people, is a bad thing. I'm just kind of lost on that. Sometimes,
yeah,
the internet can't have nice things.
So, to answer the question, do you think, I'll rephrase it, I'll just repeat it. Do you think the new Twitch sub-only stream option will spark new innovations in content creation? And in my opinion, I think so. I don't think it's going to be like widespread, but you know, here's the key: is the word there's innovation. Just doing a sub-only stream isn't innovative. That's just using a feature. It's like if I put the chat right now in following only mode, or followers only mode. That's not innovative. That's just using a feature, really. You know, that's just pretty basic. However, I could definitely see some application purposes for this that make a lot of sense. You know, for example, with Cutthroat Pokemon, right now, if you type exclamation point Patreon, you could pay $3.99 to get episode 1 early. You know, it's not crazy to think that, like, oh, I could just use Twitch now and just do a sub-only stream of episode 1. And then guess what? People don't have to be a patron. They could just be subbed on Twitch. Probably not going to do that because Patreon's easier right now, and Patreon still has an edge over Twitch in terms of crowdfunding because they make it easier to do a lot of things. For example, I can send postcards because I have everyone's addresses allocated to send the postcards. But I do think that it does have potential to open up innovative opportunities. Like in my case, I would be charging people less by doing a sub-only stream to get episode 1 early, if that makes sense. And I feel like to write that off quickly, you know, I don't know if it's closed-minded, but like it's important to hear out if someone does have like an idea like for a sub-only stream. In terms of it being innovative, I think it's possible, and I think that we can see that develop as the feature matures a little bit.
Yeah, and like artists can like draw for subscribers, make like an art only stream or something like that. Like it really depends on the users and how they want to utilize things, and I think adding an option is never a bad thing. So I can see it being innovative, and I don't really see it being really a bad thing at all.
Yeah, and I've actually seen, so I've seen it in the chat and I've seen it a bit on Twitter. I totally understand people who are frustrated when they see these features and not other features fixed, but the way I see it is just, I kind of consider them separate things. We don't know if they are working on these other things and choosing to put their resources there and not working on the other things as well. So the way I like to see it right now for this issue is like, I like that they added something at all versus like not choosing to keep trying to update their site at all. And I hope that just we can keep giving feedback to get more things, but who knows, maybe this is something that a lot of like, you know, people have been asking for in their feedback forums or something else like that. It's kind of tough to say for sure. So I think it can definitely have some innovative aspects, but it's all going to come down to our people, you know, in the chats going to like them, are people going to be receptive of them, and that gives you guys the power as viewers. If you, like Robbie was saying and other people were saying, if you don't like the streams, you have the power. If you guys don't show up and if people are not renewing their subs, like that's going to be the biggest way to tell someone like, I shouldn't use this feature anymore because people are not happy about it, you know. So that's my 2 cents on it.
I think it's gonna have to be innovative to get people interested, because you're pretty much forcing people to pay to watch you. So like if they're not getting their bang for their buck, then they're not going to be interested.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I think
that's a really good point.
Yeah,
very good. Okay, I want to side tangent back to the our questions, just because it'll tie into one of the other Twitter questions, or sort of. How do you deal with an innovative idea not succeeding? Because we've all had that before, you know, where we try something out and it doesn't work, or maybe it doesn't go as well as we want it to. How do you deal with that? How do you move forward professionally? How do you deal with it emotionally? Like, what's the best way to do that, you know?
Coffee.
I complained to Josh and Elliot on Discord. No, I think there's a process to it, at least for me, because I have had some things just fall flat, and being honest about that, I mean, you're going to experience that. Unless you're extremely lucky, you are going to fill your walls with rejection letters and with, you know, empty spaces where views should be, if you will. For me, it's kind of a process. Okay, if something doesn't work for me, I want to know why. And also, a wise 4th gen gamer once told me to manage your expectations. Your definition of a series working or not working, a video, a stream, may be different. You can't have unrealistic expectations. That's one thing. Like, some people will come into my stream and be like, man, I can't wait until I have 1,000 subscribers. And it's like, but you got 2 right now. Like, don't you want to kind of stair step this thing? Because you're setting yourself up for failure if you're not managing your expectations, for one. If something doesn't work, I want to know why. I go into the analytics. I go into the times that I uploaded a video or did a stream. I go into what I was doing. I rewatch what I was doing. It can be pretty torturous because, for me, I beat myself up a lot. Just personally, being honest with you guys, I really beat myself up. I always assume that it's me. But sometimes it's as simple as, oh, I uploaded this video when some other event was going on. I uploaded this video at a bad time. I uploaded a Just Play Mario video 10 minutes before YouTube went down one day. That video didn't do very well. Was that necessarily my fault? Maybe not. Sometimes there's more to it. I think for me, I feel at peace with an idea or a video or a stream not working if I have done the work beforehand and I have done my best, and then afterwards, if I have really analyzed it and I feel like I have a plan moving forward, then I'm okay with that. That's how I deal with it personally. And bitching to them on Twitter. Discord, I mean, sorry.
I know something really important for me, and you know, there's two different, kind of like a fork in the road. It's like you deal with an idea not succeeding, and like you want to just move on and do something else, and that's more like what Robbie's talking about, like reflecting, finding out why, like trying to learn from that. And then there's the other path that you could take, and sometimes this happens too, where like you want it to work, like you're really passionate about it, and some ideas you're like, okay, I'm done with this, I'm moving on. Some ideas you're like, okay, wait a second, how can I make this better? And a big part of that is iterative design, iteration. Anyone that does computer science, you guys know what iteration is. Google iterative design. You'll see like a diagram of like a chart that goes around in circles and circles and circles before it finally goes out into development. And iterative design is pretty much taking your idea, taking your product, your game that you're developing, your art piece, whatever, and making it, and then making it again, trying to build it from the ground up, almost like over and over again, where you think to yourself, how can this be better? What is better about this? Like what can I make better about this? And a classic example of that is Cutthroat Pokemon season 1 to season 2. You know, season one was fine. It wasn't, you know, terrible. It was entertaining. A lot of people in chat, I know you guys love it. You know, there were a lot of holes in Cutthroat season 1, and it was still really great. It was a fun series. I'm happy we did it. I'm proud of it. But at the end of the day, with how much time, especially, I was the only person editing that took so much time, and like it did well. It did really well at the time, but you know, was not well enough for like the numbers that it got in terms of like, I can't do 10 hours editing one episode if it's gonna get like 3,000 views, which is amazing. And I'm not saying that I'm ungrateful for that, but in terms of like, okay, like I love this so much, but I can't put that much time in. Like I wish that I could, but I was in a position there. And I like using Cutthroat Pokemon because it's a good example, and because you guys know Cutthroat Pokemon, where I was like, okay, back to the drawing board. How do we make this even better? And then episode 1 has 60,000 views now, I think, of season 1. Episode 1 of season 2 has over 1 million views. And that's for a lot of different factors, but one of them is that iterative process. You know, with season 3, episode 1, if I go into my folder right now of all my videos, I have about, I think, like 10 to 15 drafts of episode 1 at the very least from Noah, because we beat the crap out of that episode. We went through revision, blah, 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 until we knew that this is the best episode 1 that we can roll out for the world to see. And that's really important. If you want to continue an idea, you can't just do the same idea again and think it's going to do better just because you're doing it again. You have to think, how can I make this better? Or else you can't expect it to do better. I think that's important.
You can't have success without failure. You can't, you know, have success without trying to do these things either. You're not always going to be able to, you know, get out there and do well without trying all these different types of ideas you come up with. Sometimes you're going to fail, and that's okay. But then one day you're going to try something, and because you tried it, you're going to succeed. And that's just the most important thing, man. I mean, you're not going to know until you try. And we've had this discussion before, but this is the same exact idea. It's like, you got to just try these things, and it's going to be risk sometimes, and sometimes you're going to fail, and the best way to cope with failure is by trying something different and, you know, saying how it goes, or maybe approaching it a different way, doing more things with it, and then maybe that failure will become a success. You got to try.
Yeah. All right, I think I want to do another Twitter question that piggybacks off of this. This is from More Antics. And the question is, so everyone goes through a slump or a bad day. How do each of you get over your own slump to get that innovation back? It's a really good question. Anyone wants?
I think that you can go. Pulse.
You post that in the chat real quick.
I was gonna say I have a good support system. I have an amazing girlfriend that makes me very happy. They get me through the day whenever I need it, and but other than that, I would say Twitch chat as well is absolutely a huge thing. Like whenever I'm on like world record pace or something, like some like jackass crits me out of nowhere. Chat's always there. Give me them hugs. Look, see Birch. There he is. Give me some hugs. Perfect. Gotta love your support system.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like just having your friends be there for you, the chat be there for you, your community behind you, it's really nice. Whenever you're in a slump, I think that, I think it pretty much goes away after like a day or so. We kind of just have to move on from these things, and we can't let it really, deteriorate, like make it hurt you like more than it, should. Sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, I'm in a slump right now. I just gotta, keep going. I just gotta find the next best thing. Maybe I just have to ride this series out and then not do something like that again. It goes hand in hand with the whole entire failure can become a success next time. So you just gotta keep on going, man. I have some amazing friends behind me. I have an amazing chat behind me, and just like Pulse said, I could be having a pretty bad day. I turn on the start stream button, and the last stream I did may have not been the greatest, but the next stream I do could be the best stream ever. Like, that's just how it can happen, and I that's just the beauty of content creation. It's unpredictable.
Are you ready for some feels?
I think we had a lot of feels today. But
no, I'm not ready. I need to turn my air conditioner because it's really hot in here.
You need to get... He actually is leaving.
Bruh.
I was just about to give this man the finest of compliments.
He just went like, nope.
Rip him. And
No,
that's
he's
why
back now.
Josh
Okay,
is.
are you ready? Are you ready now?
Yeah.
Honestly, this is 100% honest. The people that are in this call, Noah, Clips, Liz, I have gone through some slumps. I've gone through slumps in life that have affected content, all that sort of thing. But I've had people give me tough love and just support. All of you as well, of course, the Twitch chat, but the people in this call, Noah, Martin, Liz, have always been there for me through thick and thin, giving me the advice that I needed when I needed it, giving me the support I needed it when I needed it. Without them, I would not still do this. It's that simple. Series like this remind you of why you do content. To have a chat full of 120 some people just super interested in something that you even have a very small part in, we all should be very grateful for, just for one. But to deal, like, there is no slump when you're dealing with something like that. Like, I'm good for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Those times in between, they can be tough, but like, I'll talk to some of the people here. They're just amazing. This whole group is a very special thing that you will not find everywhere else. Because of that, all of these people here, I consider great friends outside of this because of that. It takes a very special person to be around and be there for you when you're not at your best. It's easy to be somebody's friend or somebody's partner or whatever when things are easy. It's hard to be somebody's friend or be there for them when things are hard for them. And I'm proud to say, glad to say, honored to say, we have a great group here. That's what I do to get through slumps and everything. Yeah, soon, TM. But seriously, like, I love you guys, and that's a big reason why I'm even still doing this stuff. Is because when I wasn't doing well, people picked me up. And count yourself. This is just life now. Count yourself very, very fortunate if you even have one person in your life that's like that. It's a big deal. Don't take people for granted. They're great.
And
Was that pretty good?
that was so feelsy. Oh,
I mean,
You're very, very all right, my dude. I love you.
we love you, friend. We love everyone in chat. You guys are amazing.
I think that was a gold split. Pulse, was that gold split certified?
Yeah.
Oh, do we have to make this subs only now?
I think,
Oh my god.
I think that was split.
I have one more thing to add. Just for the question, I think on top of having an amazing support, which everyone killed it with explaining how having amazing support helps. Also, self-love day. Sometimes for me, I just gotta relax. I gotta sit. put on either Netflix, a show I like, take a shower, like you know, like one of those long showers or like an hour that you really don't need to take, but like you do anyway. Like just relax. Sometimes that, you know, we live in a very stressful, like high-paced society, you know, so sometimes that's what I need, is just to kind of just chill out.
Now what works for me, and this is probably unhealthy, it's kind of pretty much like what Elliot was saying, is grind, don't whine. I just keep going, and that is probably not a good idea sometimes. But sometimes you just gotta keep going, and sometimes you do need to take that off day, and don't just take my advice, please. My advice is just a piece of the puzzle, even though for me it's the entire puzzle.
Josh, you're a hypocrite for even mentioning this because you don't sleep.
I've actually gotten good sleep last week.
He's right though. There's a balance to it, and it's really, really hard to learn that balance.
There does need to be a part of you. There needs to be a part of you that's taking time for yourself. There needs to be a part of you that does all of the other things. But there does need to be a part of you that doesn't give a f and just keeps going. And there needs to be a part of you that takes an off day.
That's actually a really good point, and I'm going to give a really recent example that, you know, Josh and I were talking. I uploaded a reaction video to E3, the Nintendo Direct, and that was my first time experiencing people being really mean, like, you know, where people just comment, and like it happens, you know, if it gets more views than normal, like people are like just not nice sometimes in YouTube. You guys know the memes, right? And like usually I've been blessed by, you know, my YouTube channel is all either Cutthroat people, my Twitch chat people, and you guys are really nice to me. And so like for the first time to have people like who didn't really know me come in and like make all these assumptions, which I deleted a lot of the really bad comments. If you go and look, like most of them are deleted because I just spent an hour. Don't do that. Don't waste time doing that. I did. But, you know, Josh told me the reason why I bring this up is like, you know, I was really upset by it because, you know, I was just like, what did I ever do? My reactions aren't fake, you know, all that stuff. And like, Josh was like, you know what, Steph, you gotta like, you know, don't delete the video. Like, you just gotta just not look at some of those comments.
Sometimes my advice is crap because
my
sometimes my advice is just don't.
Right.
Sometimes you just need to not. Sometimes,
but like it was really helpful. Sometimes you just have to, like, when you start to notice, you know, this video is getting really popular, you gotta just be like, just don't look at that video anymore. It's done its duties for you. Like, it's.
Have you seen my chair video? That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh God.
Have you seen my chair video?
Hey, on the other side of it, on the other side of the fields, yeah, grind don't whine is a motto that I do live by as well. It seems like these are opposing ideas sometimes, but they're not. You just have to kind of find your own personal line, right? For me with the sports stuff, that led to a job where you are front facing. I did a broadcast where 40,000 people were watching and making assumptions on every little thing that every one of us did nationally at the NBA All-Star Game weekend. Like,
so you really don't give a fuck anymore. That's great.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying though, if you're not, it takes a certain type of person to be a content creator. It takes a certain type of person to put themselves out there and have that chance and that risk. So being able to do that, you have to be willing to accept a failure. You have to be willing to accept when things don't go well. And then it becomes, what are you going to do about it? You can have time for yourself to kind of get in your head and like, I'm bad with it. Elliot and Josh especially know, Noah especially knows. I will come into the chat and be like, man, that video just didn't do what I wanted it to do. Or man, you know, like this, that, whatever. But they, you know, those friends that pick you up are the ones that inspire you to get going again. And then you have to have some of it in your own stomach too. Like, I'm either going to not do this, or I am going to get back on that horse. I'm going to ride it again until that horse begs for mercy. And I'm very happy with what I did.
Yeah. And that's probably what I struggle with the most, is that balance. You know, that is learning yourself, is balancing the soft side of things, the taking care of yourself, talking to your support system, airing your stresses, all of that, with the other side, which is also important, of the, you gotta keep pushing, you gotta be persistent, you gotta go. And getting those two schools of thought to work together is so fucking hard. And I say that because that is something that I still fight with, because if you just grind like I do, you're gonna die. And if you just are like, all right, every day is an off day, then you're not going to do anything. So you need to get both of those ideas
Balance.
to work together.
Healthy
Balance
balance.
is so important. And get enough sleep. I feel better that I'm actually getting sleep.
I got 7 hours last night. I feel like a god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I think something else that's just one quick tangent that this made me think about is, you know, when it comes to pushing, you know, again, as long as you balance it right, like sometimes it can really help. Like there were a couple times I've had where, you know, before a stream, I'm like, man, I feel horrible. I don't really want to stream. And, you know, a lot of people preach like, don't stream when you're not your best. But you know what? There are some times when I get on stream and it makes me feel so much better. And I'm like, wow, I'm so happy that even though those first 5 minutes were really tough, like to, you know, hit that starting soon button, like the moment like I talked with chat and like, you know, I just had a fun time, like I could forget about it. And then when I came back to it, I was like, you know what? Like it's not so bad anymore. And like it made me feel better. And like, you don't, sometimes you can't for everything. That's a very situational thing. But sometimes when you push a little bit, you'll feel a lot better afterwards. And then if you do push and you're like, wow, I still feel like crap, this didn't work, then you're like, okay, break time, step back, reflect, you know, because it can also help. And I think that's something to bring out because you guys are amazing.
Being authentic is great. That's one of the things that I love about the group that we have with Cutthroat. It's I never feel like anybody's putting on a show in the sense that they're not acting. You know, like our reactions to stuff, how we feel about things, how we are with our chat, our user base, you know, our friends. It's authentic. There's no Academy Awards being given out for what we do.
Oh, trust me. Whenever I bitch at Josh, it's all real.
Yeah, he hates
Guys,
it.
we're
Like,
worse off screen. If anything, we under-exaggerate on screen.
Oh yeah, it's gets
You know,
spicy.
Guys, one time I put coconut oil on Elliot's leg. That
He
wouldn't be
literally
on Twitch.
slathered
I
it
got
on
the
me.
Snapchat of that. That was
Monka
hilarious.
TOS. But
Didn't Elliot take home the
ice in the
coconut
shower?
oil?
Yeah, I just found it when he moved
Oh
out.
yeah.
Oh, I'll never
Steph
forget the ice
touched on
in the
an important
shower.
thing, though. Like there's been times when I felt the same way, where it's like, man, you know, do I stream tonight? And the first thing that I do, honestly, a lot of people will ask me how I'm doing. I'm the kind of person that if you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to tell you, good, bad, or indifferent. I may not say the whole spiel, but I'll say, you know, I'm kind of having a rough day today, guys, but I didn't want to let you down, and you know, I wanted to give this one a shot. And then people, without a doubt, come through for you and will bring your mood up. I've gone into a stream having a bad day, nothing's gone right. Sometimes your stream is the best part of your day. Sometimes Cutthroat Pokemon is the best part of your day. So you never know, but finding your limits is important. Like that was great stuff.
Well, one last thing. This has stuck with me for a while from Robbie. And Robbie, I want you to say it the way that you always say it. Is like, and it's really stupid. It's like one of those things they have to like feel. No, it like Robbie always said like, now, do that person or do they want it? Or do they really, really want it? How do you say it? Say it like the way you always say it. I always sound so stupid when I say it.
I think you did pretty good, man. Yeah, it's do you want something? You know, you want it a little bit. I want to have 100 subscribers. Or do you really, really want it? Do you want it so bad that you're gonna do what it takes to get there? That's the thing.
Tell the ramen story with X and Y. That's like a good example.
The
I heard ramen.
story?
I want
Yeah.
ramen.
Summoned.
with X and Y, buying a capture card that you really, really wanted.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the ramen story with Theta and Glitch. That's another one. Sorry. That's a different thing, guys. Ask about that in the comments and you shall receive. But yeah, yeah, my whole plan, like you know, as some people know, I started with sports and I'm still there doing sports stuff. But when I decided to do a Pokemon channel, you know, I had a plan in mind. We talked about planning. This goes along with some of the stuff that we've talked about before. So you guys can come back and, you know, whatever. I ate ramen for pretty much a solid month because I knew that I didn't get paid a lot at the time. You know, I wasn't going to be able to afford a 3DS capture card. So in order to get what I wanted, which was to be one of the first people to be able to post X and Y, to get to the goal, I had to start with a good foundation. The good foundation is put out quality content, put out unique content, because believe it or not everybody was a content creator around X and Y. I started doing little videos and little tests and little things. To his credit, Elliot was amazingly helpful, would leave comments on my crappy, super terrible computer Pokemon Leaf Green Let's Plays. Okay? Yeah, he knows. And you know, I did what was necessary to get what I wanted. Sometimes that sounds easier than it is. I did not live expensive. I made sacrifices in order to get what I wanted. I ate ramen for a month, so I was able to afford a 3DS capture card. When I got that 3DS capture card, it was 2 days before X and Y came out. I did a Y Let's Play, I did a Y Wonderlock, and they did very well. I'm grateful for that ever since. If I had not made the sacrifices, though, it wouldn't have gotten me to that point. You have to be really willing to do some things in order to get what you want. Notice nowhere in there were the words clickbait, sell out, take advantage of people. It was just work, work, work some more, and manage your expectations.
And YOLO.
Robbie's
And
the reason why I work how much I do.
YOLO swag?
My man Robbie works like 2 jobs and 3 channels, and like, oh man, he's a workhorse, but dude worked hard and he's a killer. And man, like I remember he came up to me, he's like, I want to start doing Pokemon and stuff, and like, you know, I was like encouraging him and stuff, trying to help him out, and then he went out of his way, got a 3DS capture card, and then X and Y came on. This man obliterated it. And if he didn't do that, then
Dude, the Y Wonderlock has like tens of thousands of views, and that was just like a talent that just started off.
Thank you.
Man, beautiful.
It means a lot. It means a lot. You know, I really appreciate it because, like we were talking about with support, if you don't have support, you don't have anything. It's amazing. So I really appreciate that.
This is a really, really cool question from CTGO Wolves, who asks, what do you think the next big gaming innovation will be? Will it be a new gaming console technology? A new genre of games like Battle Royales? A new way to play games and make it interesting for an audience, or something else? I will answer a Simpsons Hit and Run remake will be the next large innovation in the game industry. If anyone else wants to contribute, feel free.
A new Pokemon game.
I have a serious answer, but are we memes only or
Yeah,
serious
no. Go. That's a really good
So
answer.
I got 2 serious
Good question.
answers because I'm a nerd like this, and you know, I watch a lot, or I listen to a lot of other podcasts. So I'm intrigued to see where Google Stadia is going. Will cloud gaming be a thing, like where there are cloud servers and that's how you get your games? Like, I don't know. It's still early. They just unveiled it, but we didn't get to really see a lot of it. But that blows my mind. Like, I think that's a really innovative and crazy thing that might change the scope of gaming thing. And I also think that, you know, people are trying to make VR more accessible and less expensive just as technology gets a little bit cheaper. So those are my 2 answers. Is I think the big innovative game changers are going to be either the cloud, Google Stadia, competitors to Stadia that are going to come out, and VR. That's the future of gaming.
Future.
Something interesting. We have seen a little bit of cloud gaming, just a little bit, with NVIDIA. NVIDIA GeForce, they have like a stick that actually plays games on the cloud. But it's not
That's
like a
wild.
legitimate gaming console. It's like a... Yeah. That's a really good question. Honestly, I'm kind of stumped. I will say, I don't want cloud gaming. I hate that. I hate having so much in the cloud already. You know, because here's the thing. If Google Stadia one day is not supported anymore,
Rip all
Everything's
your
gone.
games.
Yay.
Yeah.
like what if you want to just play a game on a rainy day and Google Stadia has a blackout? Can't play your games. Poo.
Right.
There else
I
have an
don't-
answer. That's like really that's a
I don't
really
like
good question.
clouds.
That's a really good question. I don't know if I have a specific answer.
Oh, I have another one.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I just thought of one.
Oh, go ahead.
She had a
Also,
brain blast.
so not in the gaming space right now, but I know in the educational space, AR is also being really used. And with the new Harry Potter game, you know, that Niantic just released, I do think there is a bit of a push for that as well. So I know I mentioned the VR, but also AR stuff is also, you know, I've been seeing a lot of like published like research and stuff on like AR stuff. I think there's maybe a chance, just more things that are assimilating real life with like game virtual SAO type realities. Like, that's what's going on. That's it.
Well, I think it kind of leads into my point a little bit. I don't know necessarily that I can specifically point to one thing and go, AR, VR, cloud, this, that, the other is the future. But I can say 2 things. Number one, there will come a point years down the road where we'll have nostalgia for the way things were. I know as a young lad, I enjoyed couch gaming, and now couch gaming is damn near non-existent. You know, it's pretty cool to me that Elliot and Josh will go over and record at each other's house by each other. But I've recorded and done streams with people that I've never met, and that was unthinkable years ago. So we'll have nostalgia about whatever it is right now, years from now. The future, it is a tricky thing. But I will say that number 2, the communities in gaming will have much more of a say in whatever the future is for innovation, because there's much more of a pipeline to developers and stuff now. I'm a living, breathing example of you can go get a job at a gaming company if you stand out, if you go do things. So with that perspective in mind, I don't mean that as a flex. I mean it's just an example too. But like, because of that, I know personally, after being on the inside of the gaming industry for a while now, we're on Twitter as much as the next people. We're always looking for reactions. If we put something out and people love it, okay, let's dig deeper. Why do they love it? It's not unlike content creation. Now, back in the day, that connection wasn't as clear and wasn't as deep as it is now. So I think the community and the reaction to things on the internet definitely leads more of a charge as to what the future is going to be.
Sweet. Switching gears a good amount, we have a question from Pro Sneasel Liz. Tell us one funny behind-the-scenes story about Cutthroat recording.
I'm so happy you picked this question. I was waiting for this question.
Like someone being late and you pranked them or something. No spoilers, obviously. You guys ready for the first Cutthroat Pokemon question? Steph, did you have an answer?
Someone else should go first, but like I was just looking at this question being like, I want to hear everyone's answers to it.
So behind the scenes shenanigans.
There are a lot of fun shenanigans
I'm
that
trying to
happen.
think of a specific one.
Pulse, do you have one?
I kind of just like Vander's retakes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
What were the memes that we would do before the recording?
Okay, I love that I interrogate. I woke up, guys, early to catch both editor sections. I will just say that. I set alarms and everything. And so I asked, questions about like, what was it like, getting to see the behind the scenes. And I really liked what Jess had to say, which is that, we got Robbie, Josh, Elliot, Pulse 2 all doing like these very vulgar, like, hitting on each other, all this stuff. And then Josh would be like, oh wait, Jess is gonna be seeing this first, and like it's like this hilarious, like, sorry, Jess, like.
It's like, yeah, Noah's corrupted, it's fine, but Jess? Oh boy.
Yeah, that'd be funny, because that'd be, like, people be like, oh crap, Noah's not seeing this first, and so like, poor Jess would just be like 4th gen trash in the chat. Like, I think that's always, Noah never got to like see him.
Yeah, because Jess did all of the syncing, so no one ever saw that.
I never, I just a quick one before yours, Josh. I'm just gonna say 2 words, and you guys will probably remember from this year, the audio sync. Pulse,
that was literally mine. That was literally mine. That was literally mine.
That's funny. Oh my god.
No, guys, with your gloves. Get your fucking gloves out, you piece
always,
of shit.
for those of you who are lost,
oh my god.
Pulse would always clap with the gloves.
Guys. So at the beginning of every recording, we need to sync our audio for Noah and for Jess. So we would all go around the horn, and everyone would do like a clap individually, and like Elliot would clap. Let's do it right now. Let's just for good old fashion's sake. All right, guys, get ready to record the Cutthroat Pokemon episode.
We're not this formal, by the way.
37.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
All right, it's like, all right, bitch. All right, Steph, clap. Josh, clap. Robbie, clap. Elliot, clap. Pulse, clap.
Bro,
it's so pathetic.
And then it would be
like, it would be just immediately like.
And you guys get to see his gloves, but we don't see it, so we just hear like a thud.
Yeah, and like we're all just like we're all just really like chill, like we're all like just trying to get to the recording, so we're all just like clapping or whatever, like all like chill.
And it's early. We're recording this at like 10
yeah, we're groggy as fuck.
Time.
So then Pulse comes on and he goes, and then we all just die. Like bro, it was like we're all just like exaggerating it, and we're just like a poor Pulse, man. He's like, you have these like weak ass like studly arms and she's like, I have my gloves on.
We're like,
I also
Pulse
like-
the T-Rex clap. Pulse needs to hit the gym. What's wrong with Pulse?
He needs to jerk off more, man. What the heck's going
Oh
on?
my god.
I think my favorite was like the morning pictures of like showing like
Oh my god.
where we are at the beginning of each recording so that we would know
Oh.
like can I show like one? Hold on,
Yeah.
let me-
Yo, if you
Yeah,
have
one.
one.
yeah,
Do
this
it.
won't really show spoilers at all. Let me throw it in
It
chat.
better not.
There's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
one.
that
Oh
was
yeah,
so
dude,
funny.
totally.
Elliot,
So
is there any
we
way you
would-
could pop that up on stream?
Oh, and I can throw it in. I can throw it in chat.
Yeah,
Too.
throw it in chat. Throw it in chat.
Yeah, put it in chat.
So yeah, here's one of them.
Click on that link, guys.
Showing a position.
So
Of, like,
part
where
of
I was
part
at
of
the
what we
time.
do for recording is because we all need to know where everyone is in the game. So like, so we know like who do we want to fuck over in the auction? Like, oh, Pulse is really ahead, or Elliot's really ahead. So we take a picture of where we are and we put it in the chat. So yeah, that's
They would be like, holy shit, you're there. I didn't even know you were there.
Pulse is making up to his
And then
blind.
I'd be like,
where you're at in the game too. So it's important that they know, not just for fucking over purposes, but for maybe a card that's specific to where you're at in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
Yes,
not
that's
only
also really
that,
important.
But like whenever like penalty cards of like something bad, like putting the toilet paper around, we were like, all right, we need updates. Give us like a screenshot.
oh
of
yeah.
Oh my god.
how it looks.
I love those update ones.
Oh my
You guys
God.
are gonna you guys don't see these behind the scenes
Y'all in
things,
for a
but it's
treat.
great.
That's
So good.
amazing.
We have so much fun, man. I love it.
Okay. This one is from Andrew, who asks, what's the hardest challenge you've faced in your streaming / YouTube career so far, and how did you overcome it if you were able to?
Can I go?
No.
Darn it.
Yes.
It's all you, friends.
So whenever I was in my junior year of high school, like going right into it, I was thinking about quitting YouTube and quitting content creation. I didn't do Twitch at the
What the
time
fuck?
much. Yeah, this is before I met you guys. I always say this, man. If it wasn't for Robbie and Josh and Sin and Swami, like, man, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Like, I was legitimately thinking about quitting content creation during that time because my stuff just wasn't doing great. I had to get my grades back up. I didn't know if this is something I could really attain in the future. I was gonna maybe make videos like twice a week or whatever. I just was like gonna stop putting so much effort into it. I was just gonna kind of do it mainly for fun, not think of a future with it. And then I literally lost all motivation. And then I met Robbie, I met Josh, and I met what was back then like the Fab Five, and we all just brought each other up, man. We just were like, all right, cool, we're gonna do this. All right, cool, we're gonna do that. Like, we were literally in a call one day, and we were like,
quad up.
yeah, we were literally like just talking like, man, how cool would it be if we're all to play like Pokemon Emerald, randomize the games, and do a monotype, and just all four of us are just gonna do it right then and there. And then we're like, okay, cool. And then we just literally like recorded, YOLO'd it. We literally did it all in a span of an hour, just recorded it, and we're like,
just being like, hey, let's do Cutthroat Pokemon.
all right, cool. We're doing it right now. There was only 4 people, and we all just played it, and it was stupid. It was ridiculous, and like it was so much fun. And that's what I love, just talking on Skype back in the day, and like just spitballing and having a fun time, and just like being ourselves. And they really motivated me. I got back into it. We killed it. We had a good time. And like, if it weren't for those moments, man, I don't know if I would be right here right now. So yeah.
This guy Elliot gave me a chance. Like, he was at 6,700 subs, and I was at like
200?
67 subs.
Yeah.
Aww.
And then, we were like, yeah, we're going to do a Sacred Gold Storm Silver. And I told him, like, oh, don't expect too much. And then he's like, dude, my video got this many views. I got this many subscribers. I'm like, well, I'm happy I could help. But, like, we brought each other up, man. And I always tell people, don't focus on numbers. Because Robbie, whenever he was on Just Play Pokemon, had a few hundred. Josh had a few hundred. Sin had a few hundred. Like, I was the biggest of all of us, by far. I didn't focus on numbers, though. These guys are my buddies. I saw the potential. I saw the love. I saw the hype. I saw the everything, man. I didn't care about the numbers. These guys were my friends. They brought me back up, man. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here right now. So don't focus on the numbers. Focus on other shit. Because, man, honestly, these guys are the freaking best friends I could ask for, man.
Love you, bud.
Wholesome.
You're talking about me?
All of you guys.
Love you too, buddy.
Wow.
I think I kind of have one. I think you guys know what I went throughout 2017.
Did it make you feel blue?
Yeah. I love
Aw.
the shade. So back in 2017, I was very new to, loving someone and just liking them. I had a big crush on someone, and they were very involved in my life with a lot of things. And pretty much, I was very much manipulated. I was just kind of teared down a lot. And it just like, oh man, I had to really repair myself from just going through just so much heartbreak and manipulation, and just put in like a backseat. And eventually I got that closure that I wanted. And it's not even, I would say, not even until now that I actually finally feel like I'm getting back into what I've been striving for, the stuff that I love, and just being here. A lot of you guys know what I went through in this call. And honestly, again, if it wasn't for, much like Elliot said, if it wasn't for like you guys, it just like, oh man, I'd be in some deep shits.
I just still remember,
Right
man,
now.
TwitchCon, like, I think it was like 2017. Like, we all got like, we all just hung out together a ton, and like we tried getting like your mind off of everything. We got freaking what's it called, crepes, and like, it was a good time, man. It was a good time. We got crepes. That's the thing, man. Friends bring each other up, and dude, like, what was going on with you was not cool at all. But you're so much stronger now because of it. So, we got you, dude.
I think I got to give another like big shout out to Thetasaur as well.
Aww.
Like, she came into my life at just like the perfect time. But I'm really happy.
You're so freaking wholesome, dude. Stop it.
Cute. I think for me, I think it's a little bit about what I touched on, but in a more grand sense. I guess the idea of when you do content, like, there's so much amazing and love and support, but you gotta be thick-skinned in some ways, not just with YouTube comments or Twitch trolls, but also just with like certain decisions. Like, you've gotta, be your own advocate and do like, make sure your content decisions make you happy. And if other people disagree with that, like, you gotta kind of stand your ground, again, and whether that's just like with who, you have on your team for like your business / content / just like your whole setup, versus like who are just, friends, or you kind of learn who your friends are and aren't, if people aren't going to be respectful of you if you want to do things like a certain way or not. Like, I've just had, just issues with people, not being okay with certain parts of my stream, or doing something that would just, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. And if people can't respect that, then you kind of have to say it's not personal, but like, you either gotta respect what I do, or like, I can't have you be a part of my community. Or, if you have people who don't listen to rules in your chat, like, you gotta cut. I'm someone, I give people 1,000,000,001 chances, but eventually you gotta learn to just like, 3 strikes, you're out if that's what you want, or 1 strike and you're out, That's for me.
The hardest challenge, I think, for me has honestly been a little bit of what Pulse does too. You're like it or not, like, you guys really, in the most part, only see, like, we're kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit tonight, which is nice. It's refreshing. It feels good to get that stuff out. The hardest part for me is balancing personal life with recording and streaming. Pulse's 2017 was kind of my 2018. I had issues with family members, being in and out of the hospital almost all year, and trying to balance everything else. Luckily, again, Josh, Elliot, basically the whole group here really came together for me. Realized that if I lashed out, or I was angry or upset about something, it wasn't personal. It was just everything you go through. People can only go through so much without it affecting everything else. So being able to talk to people is very important. Please talk to somebody if you guys are going through something. It's always a very important thing. That's the biggest challenge that I have. It's not necessarily the content, even though that's hard too, when we talked about that. It's balancing a real life with a video game life, and making those two things have that harmony. That's tough sometimes. You have to take care of real life first, in the majority of cases. If you don't, it will eventually come back to haunt you and seep into your content creation. If you don't learn that lesson, if you never learn from it, then you're not going to succeed as much as you could. Without touching on specific things, in light of recent events, please talk to people. Please reach out. Please be there for your friends. Please hug your family. All that stuff's important. If you don't do that, you're not going to feel as well when you come to the public eye that is streaming or doing YouTube.
Yeah. A big thing for me was very late 2017. That was probably the most like challenging point just like of my life. And I think what we've seen here is that like, when you hit like personal struggles, that can also really seep into the professional endeavors. Because the question is, what's your hardest challenge that you face with streaming and YouTube? And, at least for a few of us, it's like balancing those personal struggles with streaming and YouTube, because it can be really hard sometimes. 2017, that was Ultra Sun and Moon, right? Yeah, that was Ultra Sun and Moon. And I recorded so much.
In the beginning was Sun and Moon, right? Or
Sun was 2016.
2016, yeah.
What?
2017 Ultra Sun and Moon. 2018 Let's Go.
Wait.
I feel old.
Wait, but fall of 2016, so that the beginning was kind of still.
Usum was fall as well. Fall 2017.
Oh.
Sun and Moon was fall 2016, and then I was covering Sun and Moon, and then 2017 I covered Ultra Sun and Moon, and that was not a very good point for me at all. I went through like a pretty big personal downer thing. I really can't talk about it, obviously, but and that was right before the launch, so I had like this big, humongous mental weight on me. And then after recording so much, I became very physically sick. And for about 2 months, I was a physical and emotional, just like, mess. And that was really hard. I was dealing with problems with school as well. And what was important was a change of scenery. I went to a new school. Also, yes, lightning round would be great after this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, guys, we still got a little bit of time left, but we're probably gonna do some lightning round after this of questions.
Yes. Also, I had another thing, but I just want to put out there in a minute. But sometimes you just need to change the scenery. Sometimes you need a clean slate. Sometimes you need to just, wipe things down clean. And I know something that was really big for me was talking with Elliot and talking with Steph and talking with Robbie like a lot, and Kyle A at the time, and Pulse. I didn't really know you like incredibly well back then, so sorry. But
man.
So it's 2017, man. Dude, that's when we went on the Denny's dates. They were they were late night Denny's nights where I would just
3 in the morning
cry to Elliot. And it was really, really hard. But like, I'm not saying this to bring anyone down, but just to say that, hey, like, you can climb out of these things. You can have success and happiness, but sometimes you have to fight for it. I remember being in my bathroom, throwing up and having a nosebleed at the same time, and having a headache and feeling like not good. But you know what I did? I got help. I got help from the people around me. Before we do lightning round, and exactly what Elliot said.
Yes.
Before we do lightning round, this has been an amazing podcast. I understand we didn't talk a whole lot about like the other things with innovation, like more tips and tricks on how to do innovation and like challenges specifically with innovation and how to overcome that. Anyone that's like super interested in innovation specifically, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this on Twitch and you're like, I really want to hear more about that specifically, highly recommend this video that I made that covers a lot of that, especially the second half of the video covers specific tips and tricks on how to innovate, whether it's Pokemon or not Pokemon. I worked really hard on that video, and I think that speaks really well to that. So if that's something that you're super passionate about, you're like, I want to be the very best like no one ever was with innovation, that's a good resource to go to, because we kind of got like some of the innovation stuff, but not like the talent of it. But we got to answer your guys' Twitter questions, which I think for this is definitely amazing.
Watched it all. Can confirm Josh had like a 15 page script?
Yeah, after double spacing, yeah.
Yeah, holy crap, dude. You needed a works cited for that thing. And also, like, seriously, I watched and listened to that whole video. It inspired me a ton. And I still come back to that. It's a great watch. You guys
Watch
should
it.
definitely watch that.
Watch it. I give some specific examples too. All right, Steph, do you want to be in charge of the lightning round because I have no voice?
Sure. Wait, which questions should we ask? Oh God, do you want to give me the questions and I can ask them? Or wait,
Oh.
I wasn't ready. I was not ready. I was just.
Steph asked in the chat, should we do a lightning round? I thought that meant that she had them. All right, I got them. Don't worry about it.
No.
Okay.
Just we answer quick, like within a minute.
All right, guys. Lightning round means we're going to answer your guys' questions, but like very fast because we got to raid Vander maybe like 5 minutes after 12. So, all right. How hard or easy was it first starting out recording and streaming on Twitch? Weird, new, and exciting.
Let's see. I got it. All right. 6 months. I had 2 people in my chat. So you just keep doing it. It was hard at first, but then you know what? I started promoting myself to friends, and then more people started coming. It was great. Yeah.
Hard. It's hard work. If you don't have the willingness to work hard, it won't work out for you.
It was one of the coolest experiences ever. I love talking with chat, and it opened up my eyes to a completely new thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it helped me find who I am today. I love
Wow, all very different answers.
All right. Next question. Ooh, how do you find out? Oh, sorry. You do it.
I gotta do it so we don't repeat. I'm going down
You're
our
right,
list.
you're right. Okay, go.
What would you all recommend to make thumbnails with for someone who doesn't have access to Photoshop and doesn't have the extra money to pay to have them made? It's a really good question.
Yes, there's a program called GIMP, G-I-M-P, that is almost a clone of Photoshop, just a light feature one. Sorry, did I beat you?
No, you beat me. But yeah, look up free Photoshop alternatives. Free Photoshop alternatives.
Long time ago.
Yeah, GIMP, Paint.net. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a really good one. What do you think is the best thing that a fellow member of the stream brings to their channels or Pokemon? So here's how I want to do this. You guys see the stream? Let's go clockwise, and we'll each do one thing for the person ahead of us. I will start with Robbie. So I do Robbie, then Robbie, you give one about Pulse, Elliot, Steph.
Okay.
Oh my God, Steph, you're gonna say something about me. Great. So Robbie, I love your attitude that you bring. Like, you're like a father. You're a father figure, man. In some ways, like though, like you're inspired. No, you're inspiring. You're inspired. Like, dude, Vanderforge was in chat and was like, "You are an inspiration to me.
Aww.
You're inspiring."
Thank you, but now everybody's gonna call me Dad in chat, and I hate that.
Hi, Dad.
I really appreciate it, though. Yeah, it means a lot, man. That's the whole goal. Okay, so it's me and Pulse.
Me
now.
with Pulse, one special thing that he brings.
One special thing that he brings to
channel
streams
or whatever
is overwhelming passion. I am interested in speedrunning for one reason and one reason only. That reason is Pulse Effects. He took something that he loves and broadcast it to the world in his way and didn't lose who he was as a person in doing it. And who he is as a person is a beautiful person that has shown the world that he can do what he wants to do and share his passion with the world and have it be a viable thing for him. So, Pulse, here's an imaginary drink to you.
Thank you, man. Let's see, for Elliot, I gotta say, like, the thing I love most about you, man, is just how outspoken you are about your, just like how much you're feeling the love about everything and anything, like whether it's like a donation, a subscription, maybe it's just like a compliment or something. It's just like you just like I always feel it off of you, and I want to have that energy and to have that aura, and you perfected it, and I want it, and I love it.
Love you, man.
Can I just say, that this is a lightning round, but we love each other so much that we can't. It's impossible
Yeah,
to lighten
speed.
round.
We gotta be Sonic fast. We got this.
Steph is very, very wholesome, positive, amazing, and I love the way that she brings just Pokemon and anime and all the other things that she does with the Nintendo content just out there, man. She's so community-based. She's so, like, you can literally go by Steph's stream, and then you'd be like, oh my god, why is she so nice? And why is she so uplifting? Stop, but don't stop. It's great. So, it's awesome.
Stop it. All right, I'm gonna do my favorite quote that me and Josh say all the time. Josh is an innovative god. He just is. This is the theme of the podcast, but Josh is literally the most innovative person ever. Oh my god, your face. So yeah, seriously, Josh innovates like crazy and is super zany and entertaining. And so yeah, that's it. Speedy boy.
Do you guys? Well, okay, I'm reading the question to make sure it's not a troll question first, right? I gotta proofread it. Do you guys feel like your personalities are innovative and a huge part of your success as streamers, or do you believe it's mostly just your content in itself? Do you think it needs to be 50-50, or is it different for everyone? So, pretty much.
Speedy answer.
We'll go clockwise.
It's a mix. You need to have your personality be interesting and innovative, and the content to also be interesting and innovative. Yeah. Clockwise, so Robbie. Quick.
That's okay. Sorry, clockwise from the bottom. Okay,
Sorry.
So yes, absolutely, personality is huge. If I didn't have me, I don't think that I would succeed.
All right, Pulse.
70% personality, 30% content.
100% will.
Oh, I said 70%, 30% content.
15% concentrated power and will, 5% pleasure. Okay, yeah, I think that it definitely depends on your personality whenever it comes to full-on content. But if you're a speedrunner, let's say, it could be a lot on the game. So it really depends on the person, but definitely a 50-50, I would say. And if you're more so like us, definitely way more personality-based. Steph.
Literally, Elliot, said pretty much what I was going to say. It depends on what kind of streamer or content creator you're going to be. If you're a pro gamer, if you're a ninja, doesn't matter your personality. Like, to an extent, I mean, Ninja exploded because of personality. But if you're going for esports, your personality doesn't matter. People watch for the esports games. If you're going to try and be like, just someone who's not great at video games, like, you got to have some sort of personality that draws you to it. So, yeah.
I think this question's more for me. What made you guys use a Food Network show like Cutthroat as opposed to a game show like Press Your Luck, Jeopardy, or a match game? I think that this could work with any show format. Cutthroat Kitchen is just the one that I really loved, and I wanted to make it work, but you can make anything work. Innovation and the perception of whether or not something is truly innovative is often subjective. When making changes, how do you ensure that those changes appeal to the widest possible audience? Trial and error, and using your gut.
I agree.
Because a lot of the most successful things in business or in content are people that kind of predict before things get popular, right? Like, you always hear it, like, the people that were playing Fortnite before it got big are who's big right now, so it's kind of like, if you knew already what it would be, like, no one would be successful. So you kind of got to just, go with your gut. What's going to be the next?
Some things are just stupid.
Yeah.
Right. So I told the ramen story earlier. The reason I did that was because I thought, okay, if I get to be one of the first people in line to do this, then things will go better for me than if I didn't.
Yeah.
So being first in line is a big deal.
Yep.
Just real quick, stupid example. I think it was JCPenney's or Macy's during the Super Bowl a few years ago. They had a social media marketing campaign about gloves, and they were tweeting nonsense on their Twitter account. It was just blah, blah, blah. It was just gibberish. And then everywhere they were getting this earned media of what's wrong with the JCPenney's Twitter account. And then they were like, oh, sorry, we had our gloves on the whole time. Buy our new gloves right now. Sometimes you just gotta do something stupid and see if it works. That could have just completely flopped. That time, it completely worked. It was stupid, but it was genius at the same time. So it is very subjective, but sometimes you just gotta throw some crap at the wall and see if it works,
I think that's actually kind of where my decision making comes from. Is just like I can't run by a schedule, unless it's with Cutthroat. But like that's a very small exception. But I can't do a schedule. It has to be sporadic, and I gotta just roll with it and hope that it actually kind of works.
Yeah. I think this will probably be the last question. I think we got to most of the questions. But this one is there such a thing as too innovative? Like, what are the best ways to edit yourself if you're having too many ideas? Do you worry that you'll forget an idea if you don't do it with your other ideas? So pretty much, there's such a thing as too much. I think this is a big question. I think the key is to organize your thoughts. Write things down, like Robbie has a notebook. Time manage yourself if you have an idea that's important to you. As far as something being like too innovative, I don't think there's a such thing. You know, you could try something that's super crazy, and if it doesn't work, then you try something similar or something completely different.
You make time for the things that are important, and you don't overthink things. If you get too anxious or whatever, you have to figure out a way to get out of that kind of hole of that loop of overthinking and over worrying about stuff. Sometimes you just got to do it.
Mikey, just do it.
Boo.
And I also think if you have a lot of ideas, write them down, but just pick one to start. Like if you try and incorporate all the ideas into one, like it's wasting opportunity. You could save yourself burnout if you got a backlog, you know, like if you're good to go. So save them.
One thing at a time. Quality over quantity. Really important. Okay, I think we answered like almost, if not all of them there.
That was awesome. We had a lot of great questions.
What a great podcast. Wow, that was awesome. Like I said, guys, you know, we didn't cover some things with innovation, like how to do it. Just think outside the box, use things as your inspiration. And if you want to see like an in-depth breakdown, that's the video to go to. Very good video to go to. One of my best videos in terms of like what I've just put my heart into. And yeah, with that being said, guys, this is, of course, part of our Cutthroat Pokemon Season 3 168-hour marathon. And I can speak on all of our behalfs that at least very soon we're going the fuck to sleep, because the next 6 hours are going to be with Vanderforge, aka the auctioneer of Cutthroat Pokemon.
Now
and
is
I believe
your chance to
Steph,
ask. Yeah.
Are you gonna be interviewing Vander?
Yeah, guys. So I'm gonna jump in VC while Jordan's live, and we're gonna do like a mini interview because I want to ask him what it was like to be the auctioneer. And so I'm gonna be looking out for your guys' questions. You guys want to ask Jordan what it was like working with us? Get ready,
guys.
You know, we've been working with each other for already season 2, but now for season 3, you guys want to get the inside scoops, Jordan's memes and stuff. You can ask him there. So we're gonna blow up
you guys
his
get
chat. It's gonna be great.
Exclusive content.
If you guys were
get to see the auctioneer live.
If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, thank you so much for making it this far. Follow all of us over on Twitch as well. That's pretty cool stuff. So, yeah.
Follow all of us, guys. Follow all of us on Twitch. Put any emotes that you want in this raid message. You guys should be copying. Stay savage if you have any of our emotes. I'm personally going to be using Galactic Rage, 4th Gen Rage, and Steffo Attack. Actually, no, I should probably get all of us in here since all of us are here.
I have all of us, including Vander, in mine.
I don't have Vander right now.
Rip.
Pulse, what emote should I use from you? I'm gonna use Pulsier.
Yes.
Pulsy Sin.
Ooh.
Oh, you're right. I'm gonna do JPP. What should I do for that?
Hype.
JPP Rage.
JPP Rage.
Oh, hype. All right, hold on. Pulsey. Is it capitals or?
No.
It's first letter capital.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. I had to make my very important message. We are now going to raid Vanderforge, the auctioneer of Cutthroat Pokemon, Season 3. Let's go wreck his chat. Let's go make it amazing. Thank you guys so much. This was an amazing podcast. Thank you, everyone in the call right now. You guys are awesome. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of this.
Thank you.
I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.